all. The students of class 6 are going to present before you English Elocution contest. The participants are Sridhana Rai, Premalamu Sirpa, Prakiti Rai, Aryan Tamu, Sangit Khawas, Sam Sirpa, Vinay Rai and Lakshya Limbu. The judges are Miss Marina, Sister Joycey and Sister Gracie. The topic are the person I love most, the autobiography of 100 rupee note, my neighbors, and my favorite city Bombay. Today is our day. We are going to enjoy the day. Every student is going to give us some beautiful, inspiring messages through their speech. Yes, it is a beautiful day for us. We thank God for this beautiful day. Some are likable, some are dull and uninteresting, and some are positively bad. I shall tell you about some of these neighbors. First, the interesting ones. In front of our house live Proof. Desai is an independent single-storied house. He lived with his wife. Their only son is in the USA Proof. Desai is a retired professor of science. He is a mild and philosophical-looking person. He is mostly lost in thought. When he walks, he talks to himself. He can be called an absent-minded professor. Recently, he came to our house and kept on talking to father. It got late in the evening. Conversation came to a standstill. It was very late, but he kept sitting. At last, my father told him that his wife would be worrying about him at home. He jumped up and exclaimed, "Oh my God, I thought I was sitting at my home and you were my guest." Another time, he met our wife on the road. He saluted her and then said, "Madam, I know I have met you before, but can you tell me where we have met?" His wife is a very nice old lady. The absent-minded professor is living happily because his sensible wife is taking proper care of him. Another very interesting family lives near our house. They are a family of 12 persons. The parents, 8 sons and 2 daughters. The age of the children is between 4 and 16. Their dress is usually made of the same fabric. The husband is tall and thin, and the wife is short and fat. The children are all shapes and sizes, some tall, some round, some short and some thin. When they walked on the road, it was very entertaining to watch the whole team marching. They are a family of musicians, all playing different instruments or singing. These are some of my neighbors. They inspire me. I love them and they love me too. Thank you.
Is Premalamu Sirpa.
Good morning to all, honorable judges, respected principal, Sister Marilina, dear teachers, and my dear friends. The topic of my education is my favorite city, Mumbai. India is not only rich in villages, but in cities too. There are innumerable cities. Some are very big, like Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, or Agra. Then there are medium-sized cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Chandigarh, etc. Then again, there are plenty of small cities like they all have their special qualities and it happens to the different type of people. My own favorite city is Mumbai. Probably no other cities have so much to offer. When a visitor goes there, he finds that the Mumbai was almost surrounded by the sea. It has deep harbors and wonderful beaches like Juhu Beach, Versova and Chowpatty Beach. People gather here for swimming and having picnics and just walking. The evening are the fair in here with bell unit and normal pani and pony riding and train unit busy on shooting in these beaches. Yes, Mumbai is my favorite city. Thank you.
The participant is Pratik Rai.
Mary Lina, dear teachers and my dear friends, the topic of my elocution is the person I like most. The person I like most. He is a smart old man, 75 years of age. He walks erect, talks confidently and laughs a great deal. He is a tall man with white mustaches and bright eyes. The children love him. The young men surrounded him and the senior people respect him. This wonderful person is a retired army officer. He is my own grandfather. My grandfather, whom I call Dadu, lives mostly with us, but he often goes to visit his other sons and daughters. He is so popular that everyone wants him. Once he reaches someone's house, it becomes very difficult for him to get away from there. The children just do not want to leave him. This wonderful grandfather of mine started his life as a second lieutenant. He has seen action in Second World War, the liberation of Goa in Chinese aggression of 1962. He has won many medals for extraordinary bravery. The adventures of his army life are great favorites with us. He narrates them with a very dramatic and exciting manners. Dadu often takes us with him to picnics and long walks. He is the person I like most in my life. He is my own grandfather, whom I call Dadu. Thank you.
Participant is Harika Kamal.
Good morning to respected principal, Sister Mary Lina, sisters, teachers and my dear friends. The topic of my elocution is the autobiography of a 100 rupee note. I am a 100 rupee note. I got life in a government printing press. That was 5 years ago. At that time, I was a crisp crackling note with not a single crease. Today, I am in a very bad shape. I have often been misled during these 5 years, even though I was printed on some very tough papers. People prefer other notes to me because of my... I remember being sent to Allahabad in stacks of 100 rupee note. We were all in a box. There were many such stacks. The van carrying us was suddenly stopped by some marked person carrying guns. There were some gunshots. The van was hijacked. We were lonely, took out of the way place, and there we were distributed among these dacoits. Me, along with my 90 companions, became the property of the leader. The leader kept us with him about a week. Then he took us to a village where a poor widow's daughter was getting married. The poor girl has applied to these dacoits to help her. The cruel dacoits, who does not know anything about killing people, was very much moved by words of this poor girl. He gave all the stacks, including me, to this poor girl. From here, my changing of hand was very swift. The lady gave me to the jeweler. The jeweler was carrying me in his purse, where a skillful finger of pickpocket took me out. The jeweler carried me in a bar and spent me in eating and drinking. The owner of the bar spent me in purchasing some grains, etc. from the general merchant shop. From here, I meet with my first accident. We were all in a cash box. There were many such notes of different value. The merchant was a smoker. He was trying to light his cigarette with a matchstick, but suddenly matchstick fell into an open cash box. He tried to catch it, but the flame had affected my corner part was slightly burned, but luckily no much damage. I was still usable. Yes, I am a very powerful 100 rupee note. Thank you.
Fifth participant is Samir Thomas.
Honorable Judges, respected Principal, Sister Mary Lina, dear teachers and my dear friends. The topic of my elocution is the person I like most. He is a smart old man, 75 years of age. He walks around, talks confidently and laughs a great deal. He is a tall man with white mustache and a bright eyes. The children love him, the young people surround him and the senior people respect him. This wonderful person is a retired army officer. He is my own grandfather. My grandfather, whom I call Dadu, lives mostly with us, but he often goes to visit his other sons and daughters. He is so popular that everyone wants him. Once he visits someone's house, it becomes very difficult for him to get away from there. The children's dogs do not want to leave him. This wonderful grandfather of mine started his life as a second lieutenant. He has seen action in the Second World War, the liberations of Goa in the Chinese aggressions of 1962. He has won many medals for extraordinary bravery. The adventurous stories of his army life are great favorites with us. He narrates them in a very dramatic and exciting manner. Dadu often takes us with him to picnics and long walks. There he tells us about the nature, the birds, the land, forests, rivers and mountains. The whole nature becomes a living thing for us. He entertains us, he teaches us and inspires us. He is the person I like most in my life. Thank you.
Sixth participant is Sai Chakra.
Honorable Judges, respected principals, Sister Mary Lina, dear teachers and my dear friends. The topic of my elocution is the person I like most. He is a smart old man, 75 years of age. He walks erect, talks confidently and laughs a great deal. He is a tall man with white mustache and bright eyes. The children love him, the young people surround him, the senior people respect him. This wonderful person is a retired army officer. He is my own grandfather. My grandfather, whom I call Dadu, lives mostly with us, but he often goes to visit his sons and daughters. He is so popular that everyone wants him. When he reaches someone's house, it becomes very difficult for him to get away from there. The children just do not want to leave him. This wonderful grandfather of mine started his life as a second lieutenant. His second scene action was the liberation of Goa in Chinese aggression in 1962. He has many won medals for extraordinary bravery. The adventure stories of his army life are great favorites with us. He narrates them with a dramatic and exciting manner. Dadu often takes us with picnics and long walks. There he tells us about the nature, the birds, the forest, the mountains. The whole nature becomes a living thing for us. He inspires us, he entertains us and teaches us. He is my own grandfather. My grandfather, whom I call Dadu. Thank you.
Vinay Rai.
Good morning to all honorable judges, respected principal, Sister Mary Lina, dear teachers and my dear friends. The topic of my elocution is the person I like most. He is a smart old man, 75 years of age. He walks around, talks confidently and laughs a great deal. He is a tall man with white mustache and bright as the chile globes. him, the young people surround him, the senior people respect. In this wonderful person, the retired of army officer, he is my own grandfather. My grandfather, man called Dadu, lives mostly with us, but he often goes to visit his other son and daughter. He is so popular that everybody wants him. Once he reaches someone else, it becomes very difficult for him to get away from there. The children just do not want to leave him. This wonderful grandfather of mine started his life as a second lieutenant. He has won many medals for extraordinary bravery. The adventurous story of his army life are great. Favorite with us in Ernest Danina. Every dramatic and exciting named Dadu often takes us with him picnics and long walks. There he tells us about nature, the bird, the land, forest, river and mountains. For us he entertains, for us he teaches, and for us he inspires. And he is the person I like most in my life. Thank you.
Good morning to all, honorable judges, Sister Veena and my all dear teachers and my all dear friends. The topic of my education is the person I like most. The person I like most, he is a smart old man, 75 years of age. He walks erect, talks confidently and laughs a great deal. He is a tall man with white mustache and bright eyes. The children love him, the young people surround him, the senior people respect him. This wonderful person is a retired army officer. He is my own grandfather. My grandfather, whom I call Dadu, lives mostly with us, but he often goes to visit his other sons and daughters. He is so popular that everyone wants him. The children just do not want to leave him. The action in the Second World War, the liberation of Goa of the Chinese aggression in 1962, he has won many medals for extraordinary bravery. The adventurous stories of his army lives are great favorites with us. Just above the natures, the birds and the rivers and the mountains. Entertain us, he teaches us and he inspires us. He is the person I like most in my life. Thank you.
Gina, to give your blessing to the students.
Good morning, dear Sister Gracie, Sister Joycey, and Miss Marina, and Sir Rivers, and my dear students of class 6. Good morning. So, thank you very much for taking part in this competition. It's very inspiring to hear from you. All of you have learned it by heart. Keep it up and congratulations. You have done very well. Let us give applause to all of you. And my special thanks to Sister Gracie, who took a lot of time to prepare. And the moment she heard about this elocution, she was very eager and very interested in it. And she started preparing the students. And she took a lot of time in the afternoon preparing them, calling them here to the school. Special thanks to Sister Gracie and the judges who are here and Sir Rivers for making it possible for our students to have it offline. Thank you very much and keep it up. All those who are winners will get special prizes, and that is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that you all took part, isn't it? That is most important. So good, keep it up.
There are 2 second and 2 third. You are lucky chance. First, Adhikant Tamang. Give him a clap.
Stand up, stand up.
Second, Srijana Rai and Pragati Rai. Third, Samir Kawas and Parma Damu Shah.